dude, the organization, because we had our doubts as well, because the communication has not always been very good, right?
Yep.
So the communication was quite on and off for a long time, and then like a week or 2 weeks before HRH actually happened, the communication started to roll in, like full time. Bands were dropping off left and right. We even with the band were like, "Fuck, what are we gonna do? We at this rate, we'll be the only international band," because HRH, when we signed it, we were playing with the bands that, well, not me, but the rest of the band they grew up with, that they're heroes. And Seferim, Bram, it's his favorite band of all time.
Welcome back to the Headbangers podcast, where your hosts Nathan and Brad. Here today we're joined by the boys in Vanaheim. How are you guys doing to start off with?
Hey guys, how are you doing? We are doing great. I mean, we're shortly before the album release on this Friday, so we couldn't feel better actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I would say the art is kind of one thing that I want to jump into with this new album. Because I absolutely love the art in the new album, especially. What sort of the creative process that you go behind with like the art process of it all, like picking out what you want or like getting what you want created? What sort of the process with that?
So actually we are maybe a bit a problematic band in that sense, because we fully know what we always want. So it can be quite difficult to work with us maybe in that regard, right? We're pretty, I would not say like so we're not super critical or anything in that sense, but we, especially with the album, we really had this everything just figured out, from the video clip. We knew exactly how we wanted it to look, to the artwork, to the feeling of the songs, to the imagery. And actually, was it you, Mike, that came with the previous artwork from Julian? Right?
Yes, exactly. I don't know if you guys know the band, but they also released, I think, end of last year, they released their new album. They're called Duskmorn, and they're from the US. I saw their artwork when they released it, and I was stunned. I was really amazed by how it looks. I was like, this is one of the best artworks that I have ever seen in my life. And then I sent it to our drummer, and he was like, holy shit, man, that really looks fantastic. And I thought, well, let me try to find out who actually made this. And I quickly found it, because the band Duskmorn also posted actually who did it. And to my surprise, it's a guy that even speaks my language. He's from I don't know, south of Germany or Austria maybe. I cannot remember fully now. But yeah, this guy is called Julian Bauer. And I was sending to my drummer, hey, I actually got the contact. Should I hit him up, or what should we do? And he said, well, let's shoot him a message. And I don't know, maybe he's too pricey, but let's see. Because we were expecting, like, when you get this quality, it will be massively expensive. But I mean, his prices are absolutely fine for the quality you get. And we were really surprised. And it was basically an immediate go for us.
Yeah, I think it was the fastest decision we have ever made in our life as a band.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, like looking at it, it's completely worth it. It's a good job that you guys just, went for it. And so even though it might be a bit pricey, the payoff is obviously much worth it. So good on you guys.
Oh hell yeah! It's man, the moment we received the first snippets and teasers of it, we were like, oh, damn, it's like, holy moly. And of course, as the band that we are, one of us already had, of course, some feedback on it. Actually, it's a very stupid story actually, but in the band we have, of course, our vocalist. He is, I would say, I think together with Bram, our drummer, they are maybe the two more critical in the band, right? And Zeno always finds something, right? It's always like when we do something and we send something or there is something delivered, Zeno is always the one who will find something to complain and bitch about. So there's actually a few, I will, so I hope you don't mind that I will completely ruin the dream of the artwork for you now, but if you look closely on the artwork, there's there's these birds. They're flying at the village, and there's also birds on the mountain. And I don't know if Julian changed it on the final version, Mike, but those birds are in the same pattern. So of course, those 6 pixels on that entire album art is the first thing Zeno sees, right? Instead of saying like, "Oh man, this is awesome," he's like, "But those birds, it looks like they are copy pasted." Like,
whose command Z's these birds?
Is there like, right, I'm not being funny, but those were copy pasted. It's like it's like I zoomed in, I checked out of that entire photo, they were copy pasted. It's like
those 6 pixels, it was unbelievable. But it went super fast. It's like we basically so with all the people that we worked with for this album, we kind of just try to give our vision and our impressions of what everything would be. So we, even to Julian, we send him in a shitload of information about this is the story, this is every individual song. We sent him all the pre-production so he could get like a feeling for the atmosphere. We sent him the lyrics and with explanations of all the lyrics, because they're of course in Dutch, they're in our own language. And we send him this entire care package, like, we trust you. This is the entire album, all the story, every important piece of the album, and just make something. And then he came up with this, and
also while he was making the artwork, he was also listening to our songs, because we already had them in a kind of pre-production stage, and we were sending him the song together with the story, what Michael just explained, and he was also sometimes listening to the songs while drawing the artwork, so he gets some also some kind of inspiration from the music, actually.
I wonder if like many artists do that when they're making like album artwork, if they actually listen to it while they're doing it, or if they just sort of like take a base level of the concept and then just roll with it. It's quite interesting that.
I think it depends on what album it is, right? So if you, for example, our album is really like a concept album, so we wanted everything we just wanted the entire picture to be perfect. And I think you kind of need for this, you need to be drawn into the story. You need to at least, put some effort into it to learn the story and the feeling that it generates. And I think it's necessary if you want to really do art for a concept album.
Yeah, that's too right.
Definitely.
So obviously,
go on, bro.
Go on.
It's when my band did our track, we remember the artist did the similar thing where he was like, "Oh, can I listen to the track whilst I make the art?" And like we had like, obviously, like we didn't just go with one artist. We sent it to a couple people. We really just wanted to spread our feelers out. First tracks were like, let's just try to see what people come. We picked his because he actually listened to the music, because most of the other ones didn't actually ask. And like when he sent it to us, we're like, oh, that's exactly what the track sort of visualizes. Like we're there, like that's literally like bang on to what we wanted. So like it really does show that when artists do that, they do really give a shit whether like, well, if you're making like album art or an EP art or even a single art, I want to make sure that it's what it is on the cover.
Eye catcher, right? It's the first thing that people see that sells your product. And for us, it was, maybe sometimes it's already a tough sell that we do it in our own language. But one thing for us, it was so important that the mission from the start is that the concept had to be, like I already said, it had to be perfect. And the album artwork, it's the first thing that people see when you have the physical product in your hand. Like you see this picture, you already see, oh, okay, there's a girl with a book, there's like this huge giant in carved in the stone. Like something's gotta happen on this album,
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely go hand in hand, that's for sure. So obviously you guys are a folk death metal band. We know that you guys like to party, so give me your like funniest tour story or funniest party story. Like what's just the craziest shit that's ever happened to you?
Oh, so I already want to break the illusion. So we are really the most the most quiet, uninteresting band when it comes to touring. You know, we are with the four of us. Well, on HRH and in the England shows, we were with five. Of course, we had our the violin player, our guest Rikke Linze, with us, and she perfectly fits in that scenario as well with us. We are the four of us. We do drink, but we don't drink at gigs, right? So nothing happens there. We like to have our 8 hours of sleep, so we are all kind of like little princesses in this. And we basically nothing happens to us when we are on tour. We just the worst thing that I think that happened is that we were doing this tour with long weekender with a band called Grimner. They are a folk.
I've heard of them,
yeah, folk pagan metal band from Sweden, and they are amazing guys, and they kind of embrace the tour life a bit more than us.
Okay.
So when we started to get in the car, you know, we all eat cheese. We are cheese lovers, and especially Zino, he's a huge cheese lover. So he decided to take like this camembert cheese inside the car, and like, dude, we have to drive for like 8 hours, and now this entire car smells like your nasty feet, unwashed feet. It's how this cheese smells. And I honestly think, well, it's not the worst story. That's maybe the nastiest story that we have. I'm not joking. Well, maybe the toilets at Warhorns Festival, though. That was maybe, Mike.
I can quite imagine.
It's there's this horror story that we arrived at. It was after our gig at Warhorns, right? Before we left to go home, I think.
Yeah.
We went to the toilet, and we opened one of the toilet stalls, and there was just, you know, at festivals, right? When you have those porta potties, those portable toilets.
I can see where this is going.
You open them, right? And the thing is just brown from the inside, right? So, and then you look at it like, how the hell did you manage to do this?
What happened here?
What happened here? Like someone's ass just exploded, right? And at Warhorns Festival, it was our first show in England, so we were super hyped. So we didn't know what to expect. So we opened the stall, and there's just this pineapple like in the toilet, and the toilet lid was broken off or something. I don't know where it was, but there was this pineapple in the toilet, like covered in shit, and there was shit everywhere around it. I think that's probably the strangest thing that we have actually.
Yeah, that is quite strange.
Yeah.
What happened there? Why did someone bring a pineapple in there?
I think I saw the explanation to that. I found a video on YouTube. There's a little snippet where a guy threw the ananas, the ananas is German, the pineapple into the toilet, like how hard he could. Like
I smashed it in it.
Shoo! And it was already, full of liquids, body liquids, whatever. It was just full of it, and he just smacked the pineapple into the toilet. It splashed everywhere, and I think that was actually what we saw.
We are such a boring band when it comes to this, right? We even go as far as to have our like bed buddies, right? So when we go on tour, we go somewhere, and we have to share beds. I generally sleep with Mike, and our ritual is to do a little tea before we go to bed, right? And
cute,
we just go under the blankets
cute.
And we sleep. And Bram and Zino, they are always in a share a bed together. And obviously when Rikke comes, she has her own room. And if I have to sum it up into one final thing, oh wait, there's one thing though. Maybe you remember, Mike. It was I think when we had the Airbnb in, maybe was it Lille, or it was in France or Belgium when we had the fart contest.
Oh man, well, it was definitely in France, but I don't know where exactly.
Yeah, so our drummer Bram has this unnatural talent. Like, he is gifted on the drums, but he is also gifted in controlling his sphincter. Right, so this guy has unnatural talent to control his buttocks, and he can like
two instruments.
He can fart on command, basically. That's what it comes down to. And Zino, I don't know, he ate some cheese or something, and they literally had a fart off. And at one point, they had to stop. Bram always wins.
Okay.
He's the champion.
At one point they had to stop because like they both got like physically ill. They almost had to puke because of all the farting. And seriously, that's the stupidest thing that happens to us. We always, in a lot of cases, we see other bands doing some effed up stuff and seeing drunk bands, and we are always there like, yeah, we make maybe some happy music, but no, we don't join in this escapades.
I mean, to be honest, like it shows that you guys are perfectionists. Like, you want to make sure every show is going to be on point, because there's a lot of bands that will just sort of get drunk every night, and then like you can tell from the performance that it's just not like a 10 out of 10 as it should be. So I think it's good. Obviously, when you're not on tour, I suppose you can go crazy. Like there's nothing at stake. You're not, playing to an audience. You're not doing gigs. Like there's not as much on. But I think that's something to be sort of, I don't know, appreciative of, that you guys put so much into your shows that, that's not even in the equation.
I think it's because we're all a bit, or at least I am, when it comes to the technical side of our show, I'm really a control freak in the sense that I need to be able to anticipate when something goes wrong technically. So our live setup is, what I like about our band is that we are very compact. So we can travel in just one station car. We have not a lot of gear. We managed to get our technical stuff, the live rig to like very small. I'm super happy with it, but it comes with the caveats that it's a quite complicated one. So I really don't want to be tipsy or anything, because the truth of the matter is that our live set cannot happen without our technical stuff. We need a laptop for the click tracks and the backing tracks. Our in-ear stuff is in it, so we could play without the in-ears. That's not a problem, but we still have the backing tracks and that kind of accompanying stuff. And oh man, I'm even when sober, I'm already scared that stuff doesn't work. So I think I'm kind of a control freak in that sense. And I know we are all super responsible people, even when it comes to driving, for example. I know that when we do a gig and even there's a party, I know nobody would drink anything, because everybody wants to be able to drive. So we are a really atypical, boring band in that sense. And of course, when you're at the Airbnb, you pull open a nice old whiskey or a bottle of wine or some beer, and that's it. But we like to celebrate after the fact, when we are home, safe in our beds, and we don't have to there's even stories in the band in Vanaheim with some previous band members. The reason that they are not there anymore has nothing to do with this, but we had some let's say instances where things got a little bit out of hand, where we were all, I think those were kind of eye openers for us, and we just kind of like, guys, let's make sure this shit doesn't happen again. We can party when we want, when we are home or at the Airbnbs or at the hotel, but let's just make sure that we get to the gig in one piece. Our stuff is there. Stuff's expensive. We get to the car again, we go home, then we know it's okay. Then you can go ape shit what you want, but just be a bit responsible. That's definitely the moral of our story and band, I think. So
also I mean, it works for some bands, I mean, some people get very nervous before gigs and they might drink 1 or 2 beers and stuff. Sometimes it gets out of hand, whatever. But I mean, for some bands it works. For us, it clearly doesn't. But also very important for me is like when we do these weekender shows where we have like 2 or 3 gigs in a row on a weekend. These are actually a few of the rare occasions where we are able to have gigs, and I really want to experience it like fully. And I'm a guy that doesn't drink alcohol anyway, but if I would I still didn't want to flush it away. I really want to experience it. I want to live it. Because you have this very moment on stage where you have the crowd and the band on stage exchanging, I don't know, vibes or energy, and I think that's very special. And I really want to keep that important for myself. Because this is also one thing that really motivates me to, keep the music going and keep live playing going, because
And
it's just a huge fun.
the audience can do what they want. It helps if they consume alcohol, of course. So then the job becomes a bit easier for us, of course. But I had some traumatic experience with my previous band that made me just have an aversion, I think, from a lot of alcohol consumption in a band. You know, you play the biggest gig of your life, and 30 minutes before your set, half the band is still puking backstage, not knowing if they can do the gig. You know, the biggest gig you will ever have in your life. And yeah, that just made such an impression on me that I was like, guys, please let this band be just a bit normal.
Definitely. Like, as well, I couldn't not imagine actually playing on a hangover, because I'm only 23, so I've only just started getting them, really.
Yeah.
But I can't really function. Like, after that's why, like, this year, I even said to Brad, and I was like, I think when it comes to drinking, I'm just gonna calm it down a little bit, because towards the end of like last year, I just kept going out. People wanted, like, after lockdown, everyone like, yeah, let's go on a night out. I'm like, yeah, let's go. And like, I found that every Sunday I'd wake up and I'd be like, it feels like it just gets worse each time.
It doesn't get easier when you get older.
Oh man.
And hey, you should have some fun, but yeah, it's
moderation.
It comes with perks. It's do's and don'ts, and you suffer the consequences.
Yeah, I think like Bloodstock were usually like the worst, I think, for everyone, because I remember Brad had sunstroke. As well as the hangover.
Oh man, that's
they had to put him in like a little tent with fans. I remember him waking up because the entire time.
A weird experience.
Brad were like, oh yeah, why don't you vlog it for Headbangers? Like, yeah. The one clip I got was Brad telling me to fuck off like, many times.
I was too much. This was like half an hour. This was like half an hour after I was there in like the Iron Man position, just throwing up on the floor. Like, it was just absolutely chaotic, but it was really incredibly hot that weekend. And I don't know, something just came over me. And the first 2 days I was just absolutely comatose.
Oh man, yeah. Alcohol consumption, especially loads of beer with just drinking not a lot of water and then heat the sun straight on your face. It's a deadly combination. It just sucks.
Yeah, I think like that was a very, like, next year I'm going to take it. And
Bloodstock is actually somewhere we really want to go. So we have our bucket list.
We want you guys there.
We have our bucket list right in the UK. So we had Warhorns. Well, the year after,
it was planned.
It was planned, but yeah, Corona came to destroy the party. So you had Warhorns, then we had HRH. So the next logical step would be to go maybe Bloodstock, or we have the strange thing is, and I don't want to, if any of our Dutch fans are listening, I'm sorry I'm saying this, but we actually don't really have a big fan base in the Netherlands. So this past weekend, we actually went to Germany to Mike with the entire band to do all the manual labor, so to say, to do all the orders. So we see where everything comes from, right? All the pre-orders, people that bought a shirt and all that stuff. And we were actually surprised that we still had some orders from the Netherlands, of course, but percentage-wise, not that much. So we start to be even a bit more international band. So as you know, and Bram, they live in the Netherlands. Mike is obviously in Germany, and I'm now living in Belgium. So we have this little triangle.
Yeah.
So we see our fan base getting a bit like we have surprisingly a lot of fans in Belgium. But the UK tops it off. And
absolutely.
Holy moly! Like I've done with my previous band, I've done gigs that are in size. They're lot bigger than HRH. And I tell the guys this every time. I've never been in a band where I've had such appreciative fans. This entire scene, right? I come from a death metal scene. My previous band was a bit like modern death metal, so a mix of death metal, metalcore, and deathcore. And I never listened to folk metal or pagan metal or anything before I joined Vanaheim. They actually thought it was a joke that I applied as a guitarist for them, because they knew me as this, this technical death metal guy. I only listened to bands like Archspire and The Faceless and the 230 BPM blast beat stuff. And there I played Wacken with my previous band in 2014, and we were finished, and there were people and they were cheering, but they were there to be there or something. And every time we play with Vanaheim, even if it's on the Friday we played in the Metal Monocle, a very small bar, and it was packed.
In Leicester,
in Leicester, it was really packed, and god damn, the just the enthusiasm, the people, even the support band Forlorn Hope.
Yeah,
man, those everybody is just so nice. You know, I the death metal scene where I came from, people were just arms over each other. Oh man, that blast beat was not in time. You played the wrong note. And
elbows out.
Elbows out, yeah, and right, and and hey, I'm not the world's best guitar player. I will fully admit that. And but you know, even when I fuck up sometimes or make a mistake or anything, everybody's just there to appreciate you, appreciate the music, and just appreciate that you spend your time to try to entertain people, right? And holy moly, it was an eye-opener for me to see this scene. It was a scene I always made fun of. Oh, there's those tree-hugging hippies again, right? With the horns and everything, going to those pagan festivals, you know, and I think, what the fuck, these losers. And then I've got such a blow to my face when I joined this band, and it really we appreciate, and I personally had such a big development personally as a person, being someone that was always fairly negative, with the influence that came from the band I was in and the scene I was in. Every gig just felt like we're doing the same rodeo again, you know. And now after HRH, it was unbelievable.
Well, I can say from a fan's perspective, like, you guys were absolutely incredible. Like, out of all the bands that I saw that weekend, you guys were the best, and the best thing was we got to see you guys play twice as well. I want to talk about obviously HRH Vikings. Like, obviously coming from a fan perspective, like, we were all wondering whether it was actually going to happen, because like there was a lot of bands dropping out. You know, a lot of things were changing, a lot of updates on HRH's side. Not to disrespect them, but I feel like the communication could have been a tiny bit better.
Oh yes.
But I want to know from your guys' perspective, like, how was it dealing with the restrictions of getting over and like that whole process of actually getting there, being on stage? Just talk to me all things HRH.
So first of all, to start, like, I can ramble for hours, so interrupt me if I'm yapping until eternity.
Go ahead, man.
Go for it, man.
So, dude, HRH was actually like Russian roulette till the very last moment.
Oh yes.
So no disrespect or anything to the organization of HRH. So the moment we got there, we were treated as, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on the podcast, but we were treated.
We swear, don't worry.
We've got it marked as explicit, so it's all right.
Okay.
It's like...
We were treated like fucking royalty there, and not a joke. Like, dude, the organization, because we had our doubts as well, because the communication has not always been very good, right? So the communication was quite on and off for a long time, and then like a week or 2 weeks before HRH actually happened, the communication started to roll in, like full time. Bands were dropping off left and right. We even with the band were like, fuck, what are we gonna do? We at this rate, we will be the only international band, because, you know, HRH, when we signed it, we were playing with the bands that, well, not me, but the rest of the band they grew up with, that they're heroes. And Seferim, you know, Bram, it's his favorite band of all time. You know, it's one of the reasons, I believe, why he started to drum as well. And Korpiklani was on the bill, you know. I think even Skyforger, Metzatol is a huge inspiration for Zeno. So when we were signed to HRH, the guys were like, what?
Holy moly.
Right? Holy fuck. And of course our friends from Grimner as well. And so we were super stoked. Then Corona came to ruin the party. And then, you know, we were like, oh, fuck, we have to go to HRH next week. What do we do? Because the travel restrictions were even worse at this point. We had everything arranged, so we get in the car, just like, guys, fuck it, we're just gonna do it. And if we are stopped at the train, because we took the Eurostar, if we are stopped, we'll see at that point. Fucking YOLO, right? We get in the train, we filled out a million forms. Literally, we had to sign forms.
Oh yeah, it's a fucking pain in the ass, isn't it?
We had to get like a quarantine exemption as artists. We had PCR tests delivered to our Airbnb. The list was endless, and but we were like, nothing is gonna ruin this party for us, because we have some very dedicated fans in the UK, and on all the posts of HRH, no joke, we saw that like people like, God, Vanaheim this, Vanaheim that, and people were like, oh, still hope it's happening. Oh, we're excited to see Vanaheim. Like, well, obviously we did something correct at Warhorns, but we just don't want to let people down, and we really went as far as we could. So we arrived at HRH, everything fine and dandy, treated like royalty, really. We already we did a suggestion to HRH actually the week before HRH, like, hey, we see bands are dropping off left and right. We can play a second set on the Sunday if you want. Like, we want to support you as well. This festival is amazing, and let us do something in return. We are there anyway, so
that's what I said. We are there anyway, and why not play a second set? I mean, obviously we have a new album coming up, and this will be one of the first shows where we actually play it. So we also could play it twice, if people want to see it.
And even
it was
like,
awesome.
Not financially motivated, even just like, we are there, fuck it, take us and do with us what you want. So at HRH we are treated as royalty, seriously. Nothing bad about that. The venue was amazing. What can we say? The first set, it was super good, of course. Even though I preferred the first set, was on the main stage, it was very good. But I preferred the second set much more. People were already warmed up for it. Yes, and the changeover was hell, because we had to basically we finish at the main stage, go to the second stage, and start playing immediately. So it was like, fuck. Some of us were taking a piss, some were taking water, and it was like, where's everybody, guys?
And eating the last batch of vinegar something chips, because we actually didn't eat the whole day. We didn't eat a single thing. So
it
was pretty exhausting.
Playing 2 shows on an empty stomach was a new experience for us as well. No. And man, it's
gotta be tiring.
I think we never felt tired ever. But the second set was much more intensive as well. It was, people were they were there to party. They were so happy, and we were happy as well. But I already felt my neck. But because we give everything in one show, and then we'll see what the consequences are after. We don't care. But okay. So to finish the story, to wrap it up, the 2 sets were amazing. We sold literally almost all our merch at HRH. It was unbelievable. Like, merch was arranged by the venue, so they sold it for us, and then they took a cut, and at the end of the day we go to them. They say, yes, you sold so much stuff, blah blah, and we go to the merch at the end of the day, and the merch lady comes to us and she says, do you want the good news or the bad news?
We didn't actually, we didn't expect anything. Like, we didn't expect any sales or whatever. But then the story comes.
So she said, okay, the good news is your car will be a lot lighter when you go home, because we sold a lot of merch. I was like, okay, so what's the bad news? The bad news is we have to transfer you the money, because it's so much that we are not allowed to give it to you cash.
That's amazing. That's
cool. We're like, what? This album, we do it independently. Everything we do with Vanaheim, we do independently. So we put a shit ton of our own money into this album, because the production was not cheap. So hearing this was very, very nice to hear, because it means we can get our, let's say, initial investment back. Well, not completely, but a part of it. So that was, and the fact that we have some t-shirts left, but that's it. And we ordered girlies. Well, bye. After we were finished, we just went to a Chinese restaurant. We ate some food, and the day after, we come back at the Airbnb to finish off the story. And I'm still on the couch with Bram. The rest was already in bed, and Mike was taking a shower, from what I believe.
Yeah, could be.
We were doing the. I remember it when you take showers, Mike.
Ooh.
Yeah, we were trying to book the train back, or well, at least we already had the reservation, but we had to activate the reservation. So Bram is on the couch doing this. Bram is our project manager. He manages most of he manages a lot of the financial aspects, but also a lot of the arranging aspects and logistics aspects of the band. He is also a wizard in this. And
we call him Excel master.
Yeah, he's like a spreadsheet whore. It's crazy.
Handy tool to have, I imagine.
Oh man, yes. We know every euro that comes in and out of the band. So Bram is on the couch trying to get these reservations to finish, and he says, upload test results. I'm like, what the fuck? Next, nope. Next, nope. So I check on my phone. Oh, travel restrictions. So the day we played HRH, France updated their travel restrictions from the UK. So like, we cannot get back home now unless we do a test on the Sunday. So, and it has to be an official one. So like, fuck. Okay, where are we gonna do a travel test now? Everything's already fully booked. What the fuck are we gonna do? Are we stuck here? So we found this test site in a mall somewhere. It was, I believe, somewhere around London or something. I don't really remember.
Oh yeah.
It was fully panic, and we arrived there in time, and there was a line from the beginning of the mall till the end of the mall, because they worked with time reservations, but every idiot could just go there and take a test. So the entire system didn't make sense. And we only had 1 hour to take our train. So we were waiting, I think, for 1.5 or 2 hours there. Then we had to do our tests. Then we had to get the results within 3 hours. We were already late for the train. So we managed to get one of the last trains to make it a bit more dramatic. We were still able to board the train, but it was like a little panic attack, but it didn't break the spirit. HRH was fucking amazing, and we just want to come back to the UK. It's
I also want to share like two little things that are maybe a little bit funny. When we, on our way to the UK, and at the border to the Euro train, they were checking our passports and stuff, blah 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 blah. So there was this older guy. He opens the window, of the control box thingy where he's sitting in, and he takes our passports. Then he says, can you remove your mask, please, so I can see your face? And he was like, okay, that's fine. Mm-hmm. He points on me and he's saying, hey, wait, your mustache is pointing the other way around. I was like, okay, yeah, I get you. But then he said, yeah, okay, that's fine. What are you actually doing in the UK? And we are like, we are playing a gig or 2 gigs, But they only cover our travel expenses, so we don't earn a lot, blah 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 blah. And then he said, okay. Do you have your tests, your PCR tests booked for the UK? And we were like, yeah, everything is arranged and booked. And then he closes the window. He starts picking up the phone, and he's calling someone. We were like, oh, dude, no, please. Oh no. So he opens the window again. He asks us something. Do you remember what it was, Michael? I don't know. He asks something, and he closes the window again. We see him like calling, blah 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 blah, and he opens again and says, "Okay, you're fine to go."
Yeah, but what you forgot to say is that we were allowed to go because the guy on the phone also didn't know it. Or something. There was something about a rule, but the guy on the phone also didn't know what was the rule, so we were just allowed to go. So
lucky break.
And our drummer Bram, he really thought they will pull us out, you know, just after the train. So when we're in the UK, they're like, okay, we still get these guys, you know.
Yeah, we're gonna get anal probed. Yeah.
Yeah, and he said, well, guys, I only believe it if we are on the highway, you know, to HRH.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy though, because those travel restrictions, most countries are now scrapping them. Like just like after like a month, like a couple months of it, they're like, we, you know, like given the research, turns out it don't really do much.
Yeah, but I do fully understand why so many international bands have cancelled, because everything was just such a shitstorm. Like we were still lucky because we could go by car, right? It was an excruciating drive, but we always drive. If we can drive, we drive.
Yeah.
And if you would come with a plane and everything, gee, man, I totally understand why every international band cancelled. Totally.
Well,
and then we're not even talking about the costs, because, you know, to be transparent, we spent 500, I think it was 500 euros on only Corona tests, right?
Wow.
That's already most of your fee of, you know, that is your fee of a gig. So basically the gig that we did at the Metal Monocle, it paid for our PCR tests. So just a bit of transparency. It's, I understand why bands dropped out, because these costs, they're stupid.
That is totally an eye-opener, like, because I always wonder, because, for example, I went to holiday in December and I was just going to Krakow to see my girlfriend because she goes over there in the holidays. And even that for me was like £120 worth of COVID tests. So I'm just like, I wonder what this is like for bands. I'm like, I totally get why so many.
You know.
said no. Yeah, it's incredible. Weird.
It's just not. So we don't do this. Okay. We don't do this to really make money. We do this to get our, you know, we would like to still earn our money back at one point for the album. But so, and, you know, we like to have our gas paid, and let's be, you know, we have basically no complaints about anything. We never complain. The fees are always more than fine. We never complain. But those 500 euro of Corona tests, that was a gut punch. It's, you know, like, fuck, well, let's do it. Why not? And it, I know it paid itself back with all the new support that we have. We sold a lot of even a lot of pre-orders of the album. So you know, it's it was, you know, HRH is amazing. England is amazing. We love to play there. We cannot wait to get back. Like, I want to have like this, you know, in your agenda, you can have this repeating schedule, like every year. UK would be very nice. At least every year.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
I feel like the UK is the best place to sort of play for most bands. I feel like I always say this because I think like people over here, like in the UK, we don't really take ourselves seriously, and when we're drunk, basically there's no boundary. So like when there's a gig, like everyone just goes crazy. Like already, like sober, like British people just don't really give two shits about most things. So that's when people get drunk, they just go more mental. Like,
you really see it depending on where you play. The audience is really different, and it's actually crazy different. The behavior of people, their spending habits, the ways of communication, talking, approaching or not approaching people. It's totally crazy. And for me, up till this day, it's not that we're on an English podcast, but really in the UK, it has been the most cheerful, positive crowd we have ever had. I think it's just the people are just, they're open, they're appreciative. The vibe is amazing, and even in these shitty Corona times, even when for a lot of people, you know, I can understand. I heard a lot of people complain, like, the bill is completely different of what it was. You know, there's almost no original band on it anymore. I think maybe us and one or two bands were the only original bands left on the bill, and people were just, even under these circumstances, a lot of people showed up and everybody was still happy. Like, what more do you want?
I mean, to be honest, like, you know, I absolutely love that weekend. You know, I think the same mindset as a lot of people that went. You know, you did a week of work, you're tired, like you can't be arsed. You want to, like, you know, release yourself over the weekend. You get there, everyone's dressed up as Vikings and stuff, and then all you guys are playing amazingly. The atmosphere is electric. Like, I think all those components added together just made it like such a great festival. It's my first time going, and like you guys, along with the other bands, completely made the weekend, and it was absolutely incredible. So please do Bloodstock.
Yeah, we have.
I might DM them to tell them to get you on.
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely
sure.
do that.
Do
Seriously,
that. Absolutely.
Do that. Yeah, it's how it works. When a festival organizer gets bored of hearing our name, that means everybody has done their job.
Yep.
I'll harass them, just like copy and paste in your name.
Exactly. And no, but that's actually how we managed to get some shows, right? So
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, you know, I think that was also a contributing factor at HRH. Also, our performance at Warhorns, it was, I think, a big contributor. But people just spamming our name everywhere, it helps. And we have a dear friend of ours, Abby. She also, from Abby Stabby Art, she's constantly spamming us everywhere. So you know, we're getting spread around in the UK, so that's very nice. And like I said, it really was. HRH for me was, I said it to the guys as well, it was the best, maybe not performance, but the best gig as a band I've ever had in my life. It was
a blessing.
I've done a lot of gigs, and this was the absolute highlight of, like, this was to me a bigger highlight than Wacken open air, right? So a lot of bands, they dream of playing on Wacken. Well, this stopped Wacken for me. Absolutely. This is what we wake up for, right?
Also, the fact you have to imagine you write on an album and you are in the process for the album for like 4 years, you know, then you're actually have the schedule to play a festival like HRH Vikings, and then it doesn't happen because of Corona, and it gets shifted, but you're still in the album process, and everything builds up, and you're closer to the release. And at some point we just decided, okay, if we are playing HRH, we will play the new songs, you know, and this we had in our mind for months and months and months. And then when we actually get the chance to really play the show with the new album, you cannot imagine how you feel actually on stage playing the new songs, you know, with all the work behind it, the time that you have spent all these 4 years, you know, you can just release it.
Oh, I'm not ashamed to admit that I cried after the first and second set. Just the emotional explosion was everything. Just the album process has not been always very straightforward. The album process has been sometimes a fight. Even within the band, we had some pretty heated arguments. We survived as a band, and I'm thankful for that every day. We managed to do it. I think we went through a process where most bands would just have split up and said fuck you to each other and never see each other again.
Absolutely.
It was not easy. But after HRH, especially when we had Rikke doing the violin, you know, the first time I did rehearsal at her, we did a private rehearsal together. We were finished playing. I just started crying, and she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yes." Like
I'm happy.
This is the last 4 years we've been working on this. I finally hear it come to life.
Yeah.
And after the HRH gig as well, like I wept away a little tear. It's your little, the thing you've been working on for 4 years. It's there. It's finished. People were excited. You know, people were rowing. What more do you want?
The payoff.
Hey, rowing people. That's the sign. They know you did something correct.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because I understand that feeling as well. Because like, obviously, I didn't get to play a gig, but when I released the first track with my band, like that took 2 years. We were banned for 2 years before even releasing the first track. So I remember when I released it, and I saw like musicians that I looked up to being like, "Oh, I really like that. This is sick." Sharing it on the stories and like getting a lot of attention. I felt like quite emotional as well, because it's like it's 2 years of your life that you've dedicated, or 4 years of your life that you've dedicated to this one thing. You've wanted to get it done, and you've wanted to know what people think about it, other than, you know, your own internal bandmates. So when you do get that feeling, like, it was all worth it.
It's
All-
something
all
maybe-
the arguments are worth it. Like,
It's maybe something that's not talked about enough. It's people should never be afraid to show their emotions in this, because it's a huge emotional investment. We spend ungodly amounts of hours on this stuff, and even behind the scenes, and that's something that of course people don't see when you play your show. It's 1 hour, right? And but it takes 4 years of excruciating work to prepare that 1 hour on stage, and it comes with a lot of emotional investment, a lot of like in the past 4 years, like a lot of shit happened, not only Corona, but to everyone in the band, life-changing events. I met my girlfriend at a gig with Vanaheim in Brussels at this point, almost 4 years ago. I moved countries, even though it's only Belgium. Still, I moved countries.
Yeah.
Zeno finished studies. Bram switched jobs, had some unfortunate things happen in his familiar circle and his family. Mike had also, some stuff happen. It's 4 years is a long time.
Yeah.
No,
This took me 2 years. No, let's say 1 year. So imagine 4 years. But it's just everything came to an excruciating halt with Corona. But we are kind of lucky that there was Corona, because it made us able to work much more on the album.
Yeah.
With every downside comes a positive upside, I would say.
Yeah, but still, I mean, we had more time to work on the album, but it's fair enough to say that it goes for all of us in the band. For the last 2 years, we basically had no life, man.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Absolutely not. We worked on this freaking album, like, day in, day out, sometimes in the night, whatever, when we had time, after work.
Well, it's our own
Really
fault,
exhausting.
because we want. It's our own fault, because we
Absolutely.
we know exactly what we wanted, right?
Yeah.
So to get exactly this, we needed to invest time. We learned a lot of lessons. We learned how to work more efficiently, how to record more efficiently, how to get ideas like in orchestration more efficiently. Like his laptop already blew up 3 times during the process, loading all the orchestrations. It's the timeline has been hardcore, but next Friday, or even this Friday, actually, next Friday, this shit finally comes out, and the world can enjoy it for what it is, and onto new horizons, onto new ideas. Where I was actually one of the first things we said was like, okay, this album is released Friday. We're gonna take a 6-month, creative break, because everybody's just burned out with this band and the album. And actually, in the drive home, Mike, I don't know if I told you, in the drive home with Bram and Zeno, driving back from Germany. Zeno was already like, "Oh man, I have so many ideas. Oh man, I'm already thinking about a new concept, and I have so many melodies and ideas." And Mike as well. We're like, okay, well, that 6-month break is gonna be a lot shorter, I believe.
More like a 6-minute break.
Yeah.
it's crazy, because I feel like there was like, as shit as the 2 years were with Corona, there was also a lot of positives. I think, especially for like particularly like me and Brad, like with this podcast, we got to speak to a lot of musicians, but as well as like we got to almost socialize, like where people were like, oh, it will really get into me not speaking to people. I'm like, all the way through that pandemic, I was speaking to people every night.
Just speaking to people around the world, around the metal community.
That's fantastic.
And it's one of those things. Is like, I feel like it for me and Brad, it gave us a bit of a kick up the arse to sort of go, right, we want to make this podcast as good as possible, and we want to interview more bands. We want every band from like whatever size to from wherever they are to be able to have like a platform to come on, talk about like what they've got going on, but also show like who they are as people. And like Corona, we're like, right, no one's touring. We need, like we can ask people now, like we can just go, look, have you got 5 minutes, and just get them to jump on, like, and it worked out really well. And we've had a lot of experiences that we wouldn't have had if we didn't have that pandemic.
Absolutely.
So I tried to see the silver lining in that.
Of course.
We wouldn't have spoke to as many people. Like I've got people. We know people in Canada. We know people, around the world. Like, where it's like, this is sick. Like, we can talk to all these bands. Like, whenever they're in town, we can see them, and we're like, oh, I actually know that person. I've spoke to them, and they're really nice. Like,
Yeah.
We are
I'm
social
just gonna nip to
little
the toilet,
creatures,
by the
eh?
way. For 2
Sorry?
seconds. Just gonna go to the toilet quickly. For 2
Okay, yeah,
seconds.
that's something you have to do as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been there was a few positives to it, as shit as that time was. You know, there was a lot of positives that you can sort of take from it as well. Not to really
for sure.
take shit for granted. Like, now that gigs have come back to the UK, Jesus Christ, I've been going to pretty much every local show I could do.
Yeah, but they're in the UK. Every restriction is lifted, right?
Yeah, every single one.
Like from one day to another. Bye.
Yeah.
It literally was exactly like that. Like, basically, the government were like, yeah, everything's getting lifted in the summer. Everything got lifted in the summer. We had like one restriction come back where you had to wear masks indoors. They limited the amount of people that could be at a gig, but for the most part, I mainly only go to really local shows. So they're like, oh, you can only have 500 people in a room now. It's like, there's only 10 people at the local show. Fuck it, it's all right. Like, but yeah, like, all restrictions are completely gone now. It's kind of like how we were living pre-pandemic.
Yeah,
But it's a bit weird to still kind of get used to. But
well, actually, I'm like some of the things that were introduced, I'm a fan of. I would say I'm not. I may be talkative like this, but I'm not that much of a social person. Even after gigs, I sometimes have to take a little moment for myself. It's a bit overwhelming for me to be in a crowd of a lot of people. So, like, for example, the distancing rule. Oh man, it was one of the best things that I have had.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I appreciated that quite a bit, to be fair.
Right?
I've been practicing social distancing for years now, so it's finally caught up with everybody else.
I find the distancing rule for me was amazing. You know, even things like, the work at home, less commuting, less travel, fucking amazing. But what you say, it's true, right? So you see a shift to digital platforms because we are social animals, I would say. But nothing replaces that physical hug. When I see Mike after I didn't see you, Mike, for what, more than a year, I think. 1.5 years?
You mean in the Corona break?
Yeah.
You and Bram I saw after 1.5 years, actually.
Yeah.
Then we were recording here the acoustic stuff for the album. And Zeno was not here at that point. Zeno I literally saw after 2 years again.
Yeah, exactly.
From person to person. This is a really long break of seeing like such a dear friend,
Must have been like amazing when you guys were like reunited again.
Oh, we always hug it out every time. We're like a bro family, really. It's Vanaheim is a little family, and the family has been expanding. Like, girlfriends have kind of became part of the I would say family as well, and especially since the Reuzenspraak video clip recordings.
Yeah,
Bram's girlfriend did a huge investment in making the time
clothing,
in making the clothes.
Yeah,
Zeno's girlfriend, she worked out with taking care of the girl actor and everything, and the
decoration.
Mike's girlfriend did all the choirs and extra vocals on the album. My girlfriend did some calligraphy for the album. So the Vanaheim family is expanding and growing, and it's been this. It is like, I'm not a very social person. I don't have a lot of friends outside of the band, and it's all I need. Like, this band is all the emotional investment I need next to my partner, of course, but that's it. I don't need more. I cannot spend more time. Everybody's busy. I cannot spend more time on other people. I prefer to have like these 3 or 4 people which know me inside out, and where I can which I can really talk with. And it also shows a bit that we've been working on the album. It's a bit difficult to say. The album we worked on the album for 4 years, but kind of the last year has been where we picked up really the steam, and we went into, guys, we got to fucking finish this album, steam train mode. And we've been working for 2 years, so 2 years, 1.5 year, like only digitally. So everything is, we have, Skype meetings with the band to go over every topic. We have a deliverable list. It's like a company. It's like a,
it is
really, and it's nice to be able to do this, even this podcast, do it digitally, but nothing replaces to sit at a table with a four and talk shit. Nothing replaces that.
That will happen someday. We'll make sure of it.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Like as the podcast grows, me and Brad are looking into doing more in-person ones. We did our first actual in-person one literally yesterday with
Cool.
a good friend. He does sort of like he used to be in hardcore bands. Now he's kind of switched to rap, but he has a lot of the influence from hardcore into his rap music and has a lot of dark themes. So he really does kind of like fit the podcast in like what we want to strive for. Any, musician, any platform, come on, and start. So we did our first sort of in-person one. It's the people that he works with for his music and all that were kind enough to like let us lend their studio for the afternoon, which was really, really nice of them, because considering that's a big chunk of money that they're going, for free. You can have the studio, like as that's gone on, like as we did that interview, we noticed that it's so much better being in person, because you can really bounce off of each other a lot better, I feel. So as the podcast kind of grows, we're trying to aim to see if we can get like some kind of permanent studio, like somewhere where it's like when bands are on tour, like, oh, just nip down here, like we'll do the interview now. Right, so that's one thing that we're looking at in the future. We're just hoping people actually subscribe to our Patreon so we can afford it.
If you guys are like ever in the UK, we'll definitely have to sort something out when you come back again. Sure.
Oh yeah.
Man. I mean,
it's not.
Count us in.
It's not if you come back, it's when we come back.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are trying and pushing every button we have and can. So like I said, the hopefully logical step would be to one day play Bloodstock. I think with the release of this album, we can be on the level where we could play a festival like that. I think this album is the next step for the band, the next more professional step for the band. And yeah, like I said, the UK it's amazing. We want to come back. We want to play everywhere in the world, but the UK has been up till now where we had the most positive experience, I would say.
Let's say I would say the UK has already a very special place in our hearts.
Oh yeah,
definitely. Also, what's the next step after playing Bloodstock? I'm just thinking about it. I mean, the only one really, really big festival is Download. Is that still a thing?
Yeah. Download's happening this year. Sadly I'm gonna have to give it a miss. Just me and Brad are on about going to Budapest. So we're then like, well, I haven't left the country since 2006. So I'm going to Budapest. I'm choosing that option.
Do it, man. So, I mean, Download will also be the next year then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
maybe a double whammy next year.
All the restrictions are gone now. So, like it's kind of like we get gigs back again. So it's really great having that sort of privilege to be able to see live music and support venues, and because we had so many good venues kind of shut down because of COVID. But the ones that are still open, I mean, we're looking at some of them, especially for me and Brad, are our favorites, like Boom. That's my favorite venue. That's where my band recorded our first track upstairs in the venue. So that has a very, very special like sort of place. So if you're ever in the UK, try to book Boom, because honestly, those guys deserve every penny they get, because it is DIY. Everyone that works there are really passionate about the scene and everything like that. So if you ever do play the UK again, please come to Boom, because it is one of the
it's in
best
Leeds.
venues.
It's not too far from Sheffield, and it's 5 minutes away from where I live, so I can just roll out of bed into this gig and then roll back after.
Nice.
It sounds very good, actually.
It goes on the Mike list. Mike has a list of all the possible venues and all that stuff.
That's right.
Honestly,
so I want to get into
venue.
I want to get into you guys' personalities then. So we talked about Vanaheim, the band, we talked about the gigs you played. What about you guys? What hobbies and interests do you guys do when you're not in Vanaheim doing the band stuff? Like what are you doing? What interests you?
That's very easy. Nothing. We only do Vanaheim.
Mike, you start off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some years ago, I started sound engineering for bands. That's kind of started as a hobby, but I'm also already, earning a little bit of money with it, and this is still going on. I mean, over the last months, I didn't really have time for it because we were finishing up the Vanaheim album. That's where every one of us really had to put everything aside to actually make it happen, to release this album. But I will probably soon pick it up again, mixing for bands. I still have one band from Canada in the row, which I also mixed earlier. And then I still have to finish one album with a band from Chile, actually.
Oh, it's not finished yet.
No, it's not finished yet. They were going into the studio and then Corona happened, so they only recorded 3 songs. So that's still left then. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, I don't know. Just listening music, playing music, whatever. I mean, music is basically my life. I have nothing else.
Would you sound engineer for Vanaheim then?
Well, yeah. For the first EP, I mixed and mastered. For this new album. It was in discussion that I also do it, but at some point I said it, but the other members as well. It would be too big for me actually, because I still have a normal day job, and when you have such a massive album to mix and to master, that really takes too much time for me to finish it in a reasonable amount of time. Because when I reflect on it, if I would have done it, it would probably come out in 2025. I don't know.
Okay.
because I cannot handle the workload next to my day job.
And even our producer or at mixer, he's a professional.
Yeah.
Joost van den Broek from Sandlane Studios. It's a well-renowned studio, a well-renowned person. He knows his stuff, and even he had difficulties with our album at one point. So, cannot imagine how it would be if you did it, Mike. But you did mix and master the full Kestrel?
No, not master. As for the people who don't know, our new album will contain 2 CDs. One CD of the album is just the usual normal album, with a metal band and orchestra in the background. But the orchestration is so detailed that we actually thought it would be a waste to not show this to people. So we made a second CD where you basically have the orchestrations of the album and no band instruments. That means no
folk
drums.
Instruments are on there.
Yeah, a few folk instruments, but this is why we also called it Folkestra.
I like that.
Yeah, so I mixed the second CD in the time that I had, and then it was also mastered like the first CD of the album, the normal CD. It was all mastered by Mika Jussila. People who actually love Finnish metal might know his name because he basically masters everything from Finland.
Yeah, he's a legend. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a legend. But yeah, I mixed the orchestration version of the album, but yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And for me, if I can be very quick in this, I'm a massive fucking nerd. I don't have enough time to game as much as I would like. You don't really see it, I think, but I have a couple of thousands of euros of Magic cards in the background. I play Magic the Gathering, so that's nerd number 1. I am addicted to anime. That's nerd number 2.
Me too.
I have a photographic memory when it comes to movies and that kind of stuff. But I have my other memories like a goldfish, I'm a massive
nice description.
It's like it. I'm a massive movie lover, and that's I play music for Vanaheim, and that's it. I don't really want to have an extra band or something. All my attention goes into Vanaheim. So yeah, when I am not doing my IT job, I try to relax a bit and enjoy nature. Do a lot of walks, a lot of.
Oh yeah, same here, by the way.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Watch a lot of anime, even though lately, cannot really find something that interests me a lot, even though there's
It's hard to
some quite
find a good
ones.
anime, to be honest.
Yes,
There's very,
exactly.
very hit and miss for sure.
Yeah. Especially nowadays when every studio poops out 10 a season. And yeah, that's it actually. That's it.
No,
Not
that's
much.
pretty cool. I mean, to be honest, me and Nathan are massive nerds anyway. We both love gaming, both love movies. I mean, after this, me and my girlfriend are probably going to play Pokemon for a bit, so that'll finish off the night nicely.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel as well, like, obviously because we both work in IT. I feel like you need that walk after, like, because like IT is such a stressful fucking like job, like, because I'm second line, but I'm still kind of on phones and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like sometimes you have like a few frustrating calls through the week that just build up. So you're there, like, you know what? I'm just gonna go see some trees.
Yeah, I'm
just
very
get myself out of that mindset.
I'm very happy I'm not in I don't have to do any first, second, or first line support. I do I specialize in integrations. I'm a IT architect, so people would describe it. I basically connect applications and systems to each other. And yeah, as we are like the middleman, we are always the party that gets all the shit flinged at them, because we are in the middle, we connect stuff, so it's probably your problem. So sometimes you need some zen relax moments. I've picked up reading lately. It's actually, this is probably what I'm reading now. It's probably the third or fourth book I've ever read in my life, so I'm very slow, but I try to, what you say, it's true. IT is a stressful job. It's mentally, it's exhausting. Sometimes, when you come home from work, you're just a potato. I would love to have a physical job sometimes, like really I try to do workout and fitness now 3 to 4 times a week, just to do something physically, because you can do your mental gymnastics here, but your body, it goes into potato mode. It's horrible, really horrible.
Oh yeah. I find that now I avoid talking on the phone as much as like humanly possible, because like when people are like, how come you never answer your phone, it's like, because I'm on the phone for 8 hours a day,
fuck man,
talking to strangers.
What are you talking about? You call me like 5 times a day.
Yeah, but
That's
that's
different
different
call?
because like it's to do with the podcast, and I prefer to like get you like.
Well, for me to actually, my girlfriend actually, we were on. I got some like kind of a recent eye opener some months ago. We were on a little weekend away in this beautiful little apartment in nature, and she says, "Can you try to just not have your phone for just 4 days? Just check only crucial stuff." So I put some rules on it that if my mother sends me something, she has bad health, then I know that it's her and I can respond. To my job, I said nope, and I just closed all lines of communication, and even to the band. And after these 4 days, I felt like a new person. Seriously. So now I try to use less and less my phone, even on social media. I only have Facebook because we chat on it with the band. And to spam Vanaheim, if I didn't have it, I would delete Facebook and all that social media stuff. But I get complaints from my customers because I don't pick my phone up. I just don't care about my phone anymore. Sometimes it's lost, it's in the toilet or something. It's been a huge eye-opener for me. It's oh man, it's so nice to not be constantly connected, and because my girlfriend is almost never on her phone. She's someone that turns off her internet on her phone. Well, most people will be like, what the fuck? But she just turns off the internet and turns it on when she needs to check, I don't know, if she has new messages or something. Then she looks, it's not important, internet off, phone gone. And I was like, okay, but now I've been a bit more online because of the band, because of the release. But yeah, it's in a corner now here, but normally it will be in the back in the kitchen, and I will not touch it. I use it as an alarm, and that's it.
Definitely.
It's absolutely refreshing to do, to be honest. Like, sometimes you just get so caught up in it and you sort of miss what's going on around you, for sure.
Well,
no, definitely.
Every application, everything is trying to get your attention. It's when you're in IT and you know how the applications are built. I've also did some custom software development for some platforms where they make certain algorithms and things that are coded to try to get your attention, to make you click on stuff, to keep you invested in the album. I recently saw a documentary about how the icons on your phone are basically made, and how every minuscule message or notification in your phone has been thought out by studies and research.
Yeah,
to
it's like the guy that sort of came up with like how Facebook just delivers the messages. Just did it by just going, oh, if I just put this person's tag during a photo, but didn't show you the photo, even though I could in the notification, it made you want to open the app. Like, it's just simply because they're like, we can show you the photo, but we won't, because you go,
exactly.
All right, well, what photo was it? And then like before you
and
know
you're
it,
caught.
Like, oh, then
you're trapped.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, then they see their comment on, the person who tagged you, just comment on it, and it's like, oh, he comments back, and then before they know it, they're on the like Facebook for a good like 20 minutes. Yeah. And it's like, oh, what else can we throw? Here's an ad about cat food. You need cat food, don't you? There you go.
Since I stopped using my phone, I have so much more time. Really, I'm still like on sites like Reddit. I'm on it a lot. There's some subreddits I follow and stuff. But it's not like I think it's also social media, but it's different. It's just messages. I can basically stop it when I want. But I agree. Like on a Facebook, you have this attraction to it. You keep scrolling. You see people endlessly scrolling. Like, is it so important to know that your neighbor has like his cat shit out, I don't know, your key or something? Like, what does this information enrich your life, right? It's
always like a lot of people base like their sort of like their bearing in society, as well as like how they're doing in their life, based on someone they don't know, someone that they follow. It's like, well, this guy has a mansion. It's like, that guy's dad's also a millionaire.
Exactly. He's an investment banker, and well, and even though I have I don't like social media, the only reason why we are here as a band and talking to you guys now, and it is social media. Right.
It's a gift and a curse. Definitely
exactly. It's a gift and a curse, and Facebook has been, and also Instagram right now, it's been a blessing for bands. Like, going back to the old MySpace days, holy fuck, that was shit. And
MySpace, oh my god.
And now this it's a blessing and a curse. So for us as a band, it's extremely useful to reach crowds of people, to promote our stuff and everything. But to personally be on it, I'm like, oh, fuck, I have to do this again. Like,
the thing is, you as a band nowadays, you really have to have social media. Otherwise, there is no way of getting, I don't know, some attention.
Like, you kind of have to become like a marketing expert. Like, okay, well, what will entice our viewers, our listeners? And it's like, you end up having to become basically a businessman just to push music.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
We also, with the band, we kind of double check. We don't have access to the algorithms of Facebook, but we even analyze our posts to see what works, what's suppressed. We know certain things we have to do on Facebook to make our posts stand out more, to not be kicked down by the algorithm. It's crazy. You have to go that far, right? It's
what you have to do, though, isn't it? Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, you have no choice but to see that, because it's the only way that your post can improve over time. So it's a weird time for sure. But yeah, we're sort of getting to the end point of the interview now. But one point that we always like to leave on is, what advice would you give to your younger selves, and what advice would you give to new musicians starting out?
How long do we have?
As long as you want, man. You take your time, don't worry.
To my younger self, stop death metal earlier. Even though it has been I would say a roadmap to where it leads now, and it has been very important in my development as I would say, somewhat mediocre guitar player. I know I cannot trade it in for something else, because if I didn't do it, I would not be here. But it would be something that, if I could tell myself, take a bit care there, then I would do that. What more, to starting musicians and people starting to try to be a band, is just enjoy it and try to. It's very important that you make music with people that you actually bond with and connect with on a really deep emotional level, and don't expect to be rich, don't expect to be big, because the music industry tries to it's difficult. There's so much competition. I always try to compare it with uh Bandcamp or no, not, yeah, SoundCloud rappers, for example. There's so much competition, and you have to be very unique to stand out. And it's the same with metal bands. You're already like in a genre where it can be kind of difficult to get attention. It can be difficult to get gigs. But just enjoy it. Do it for yourself as a passion and a hobby. Do it with people you emotionally invest with. And yeah, I don't know. It's a bit stupid to say, but I'm with Vanaheim. I'm literally in like a utopia. I this band is literally perfection for me. How we communicate with each other, how we bond on a personal level, how we our ways of thinking. Like, I've never been in a band or a group of people that are so like-minded. It's scary. And try to look for that. It's difficult, but it will make everything so much more enjoyable. And just enjoy it, have fun. Don't expect to be famous in 1 year, because even after 8 years, it's difficult.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a loaded and difficult question to really answer. Yeah. If I would start again today, would I do it the same way or different? I don't know. I would maybe more go for I would do it more DIY. We already did, but maybe even more. And a lot of bands nowadays are not even bands anymore. They're just online projects, and they work out fantastically, and they have no barriers. They have nothing. And maybe start off like this, and get a bit of a taste of, does it work? It doesn't work. Try to find a bit a niche or your style, and try to not be that 8,000 gent band, because there's already 8,000 of them or more. Don't try to be that copy paste and repeat.
Yeah,
that's it.
Definitely.
I agree.
Definitely.
Mike.
Yeah. Like an advice for my younger self, I don't know. I think I would 100% do everything again like I did, because when I started making music, playing bass guitar and all this combined, this was basically a world opener for me, because before I actually didn't know what to do with myself. I mean, I had hobbies, blah, 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 but everything was still, very easy and chill. And yeah, I will see what I will do tomorrow. You know the story. But when I started making music and, getting into bands and playing bass guitar and singing, whatever, like my life changed completely. Like since starting with music, I met so many wonderful people that I really call my dearest friends. Through music, and I met my girlfriend, my girlfriend nowadays. This even had an influence on my job decision, what I will do as a full-time job, and all this stuff. It completely changed my life to the positive, absolutely. So I would definitely do it again. And advice for people that are starting out, I mean, I don't know if I even can do that, because we are still so young ourselves.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But I mostly agree to what Michael said. If you do music, do it with passion, do it with fun, because that's the fundamental of it all. I mean, of course you do music because it's fun. It will probably not work out, or you will lose interest if you just do it for, I don't know, some stupid other reason.
Cloud and fame. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if people are still trying to do it for fame. I cannot imagine, honestly. But yeah, have fun, do it with passion. Exactly, find the people, the like-minded people who have the same vision, and this alone is already hard enough.
Yeah.
Finding the right people. I mean, I guess everyone who has been in a band at some point knows this. At some point, there will be just, I don't know, something that makes people go out of the band, or if they lose interest, whatever. And this is hard enough already. So if you find the right people that have the same vision, then it really depends on how far you want to go and what is your goal in making music or playing in a band. I mean, if you really want to do it professionally one day, I would say there's no other choice than going the full way and going absolutely into it, with everything you have. You should not put everything on one card. When it doesn't work out like you expected, you're going to waste, basically. So this should not happen. But I mean, if you really want to satisfy yourself with goals or aims you have set for yourself that you want to reach with your band and your music, you really have to go in fully with it and with everything you have, because probably otherwise it will not work out. Some people are lucky, but that's a rare occasion. So
Yeah.
I think
it's have fun, do it with passion, and really work for it.
And if I can kind of add I would not say a bit of an optional one, but I think also one that contributes a lot, like find, or at least hopefully have a partner that understands what you are doing. So
Yeah.
if you are seriously, I am
It's
the
true, it's true.
luckiest. I'm the luckiest guy on the planet with my partner. She's also in a band. She's a professional musician. She knows exactly how it is to go away for. So she has toured with her band for 3 weeks in a row. She went to Japan. She did Europe, and that's super amazing. Have a partner that understands the stuff, and because when you get to the point like where you go away for your first weekend and she doesn't vibe or he doesn't vibe with it, it will be horrible and it will influence your personality and your decision making in a band. So I can, we all in the band as well can be the luckiest guys in the world because we all have partners and girlfriends that fully support it and
we are
music themselves, or know the adventure. And this I think is also very important. If you have someone, for example, with my first band, I had a girlfriend at the time who was not very supportive of it, was a very jealous person, and I went away for 3 or 4 days. It would be hell when I get back home. Well, that doesn't really help. Or when you check your phone, yet you have 6 messages. Oh, have you cheated already? Stuff like that. Like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
Get a partner that's supportive in your music, knows what might happen if you get to a certain point when you are away for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day, that knows that you are gone for some evenings to do rehearsals, to write music, and to fix shit with your band. And really check that out as well, because I've seen so many times bands breaking up because of this, people stopping music because of this. And that's music is, for me and for Mike as well, it's our our bright light, it's our passion, it's
our daily bread. Without we cannot live.
Exactly. So try to find someone in your life, if you want to share your life with someone, that they understand that. And that's, I think, very, very important as well.
Definitely. I really gravitate towards that because my partner, she's very supportive of everything I do. She like, whenever I do the podcast, if it's on a night, there's never any argument where it's like, oh, but I really want to watch a movie tonight. It's like, I know, but this is one of my passions. I really want to do this. We've also band stuff. It's like, say if I need to talk, if we want to go on tour, I might be away for like a couple of weeks. How would you feel about that? And she's always like, I mean, I'd miss you, but it's what you want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
nice.
It's great having that point anchor. But it's then like, I know that that's what you want to do, and I'm going to support that, even though, like, I might miss you, but it's what you want to do. And I know you do the same other way around. It's a nice feeling to be able to be in that sort of stable environment where you're like, oh, so I can just kind of go away for a couple of weeks, and I'm not gonna, like what Michael said, get like a bunch of messages being like, have you cheated on me yet? Like,
it happens.
Absolutely.
So like your relationship should be based on trust and everything. Also, your band, your band is your second relationship in life. Your partner should know.
Exactly.
I also gravitate
Trust is
to
the
like
most important thing.
What Michael said about, do it more DIY, like, because we're getting a lot of more bedroom bands popping up, and I've kind of gravitated to that more with music. Me and the guitarist from my old band, Jordan, now he just comes round to my house. We sit at my house and we demo everything out rather than having a full band, because it's amazingly easier to organize two people's lives than just like five. So it's just been, that's what it's been doing. And
I always have like a super tight drummer on standby behind me. It's perfect. I have a tight bass player on standby, also in this Zoom call, but also in this little box I have on my computer. It's just
thank you.
Easy to get your ideas on I would say paper nowadays.
Definitely, like as well, like from being in bands like for years, we've been like, I've known Jordan for like 4 years. Started in a really shitty slam band and like just kind of carried on. Like me and him were the only ones that clicked out of every band that we started. And then we started Rain Eyes. Everyone loved each other. Everyone just didn't have time for it. But me and Jordan were still like, you're still up for doing shit. And we've got years of material that we just sat on. So I'm pretty happy that at the moment the EP we're writing on is like halfway done. Yes. It's just like pretty much just putting all the finishing touches there. So
a lot of bands
it's a lot easier. There's two. I just you can just message them and go, "You free Sunday?" "Yeah, I'm free Sunday." "You want to come round to mine?" "Yeah, I'll come round." And you just spend an entire day demoing, and it's just so much easier.
That's
so much nicer.
A lot of bands do this nowadays, and why not? It's look at a band like I'm a big fan of the band Slaughter to Prevail. It's
fucking love them.
They've got members like their lead guitarist is over here in the UK, and the rest are in Russia, but they still make it work because
exactly. So Jack
demo
Simmons
it out here, like
Jack Simmons just make the ideas there. He sends it to their vocalist Alex, and he does the devil growl on it, and bam, it's how it works.
Magic happens. Yeah.
Plus, it just opens up so many doors. Like where it's like, once you got those demos done, it's like, who's to say you have to find a studio in the UK? You can just go, well, this guy in like Sweden is really good at mixing. There you go. I've emailed him the full EP. I paid him.
Yeah, that's what we did. That's what we did. Yeah, exactly.
No,
it's so much easier.
No, well, I think you guys have raised some valid points and advice, and I think people should take that on board. The main thing definitely is all about the passion and supporting people around you. And I think no matter what you do, if you're passionate about something, then that should always be the surrounding features for it. But thank you so much, guys. It's been honestly an amazing interview. As soon as I saw you guys at HRH, I was like, I want these guys on. We need to get something organized. And, I can't wait for you guys to return to the UK. I'm sure it's going to be an amazing show, and I'll be there for sure. Thank you so much.
It's been great.
Thank you for having us. It was absolutely fun to do this. I mean, I have to say, this is the first podcast we've ever done.
Yeah,
really?
Interviews we've done, but
Thank
podcasts, this is the first one. So you took our podcast virginity away.
How was it? Did you enjoy it?
Happy to do it.
Yeah, I would say that my first time was very enjoyable. Yes.
Thank you. I mean, you two are very cool dudes. It's absolutely fun to talk with you and to, I don't know, nerd out about some stuff, Also grabbing some memories out of our brains from the UK, whatever. It just it was absolutely fun.
Yes,
Thanks for having us.
much.
We appreciate it.
We appreciate
it. Was honestly a
on.
pleasure. And to be honest, like you guys are really great. Like you totally drove the conversation. Like me and Nathan could just take a back seat and we had a few questions prepared, but you guys have smashed it all out without even having to ask them. So
it is very refreshing having that where it's like where we can just sort of go, right, go. And the conversation just is there.
Natural.
Like I said, I
Um,
can talk shit for hours. So
That's
We
the
like
thing.
that.
That's what we always look for with guests. Like, when as soon as they go, "Oh, stop me if I go on," we're like, "Just go, keep going, keep going." Like, it makes this whole thing easier for us. Trust
Yeah.
me.
that's
Absolutely.
very nice. Thank you very much
Yeah.
for having
Wish
us.
you the
and,
best.
yes, and hopefully, Bloodstock. You know,
Yeah,
notice
we'll make
us.
it happen.
Notice senpai.
Bloodstock.
No,
Well,
absolutely.
also-
Well,
Also, guys, good luck with your podcast. I mean,
Exactly.
thank
you're
you.
doing a
Thank you
great
very
job.
much.
and
Well,
I'm looking forward to what you guys have in store next.
Oh, definitely.
you.
Like, I mean, like, we're looking forward to dropping this. To be fair, I think it'll be the week after your album drops.
Hmm?
So we'll make sure we'll link up, obviously, the album, everything on,
Yeah, thank
like,
you.
you know, on the post on the description on YouTube. Just try to get as many people to it.
Thank
Awesome.
you very much, Jules. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Enjoy the album release. You guys have worked hard for it, so I'm sure it'll be a nice payoff when it comes out, and I'm looking forward to listening to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
buy a
same
very
here.
expensive bottle of whiskey and pull it open when it's out. Yeah. Fuck.
You deserve it, man. You really
Oh,
do.
man. I don't know what Mike's gonna do. Oh yeah, there it is. Oh yeah.
Ooh. Might have to get it on vinyl, to be fair, if you guys have got a vinyl going.
Not yet, but we are kind of measuring the interest in it. So we've got
Okay.
a shit ton of requests for it. We are checking it, but you need to take like immediately like 100 and stuff like that. And vinyl is a bit more expensive. We are looking at the shipping because the shipping of a vinyl is it's hell.
Yeah.
But we are looking into doing vinyl because the artwork it needs a vinyl.
It does. It really does.
But we are looking at the options. We've been getting the question actually quite a lot.
No,
I
absolutely.
understand.
But yeah, thank you so much. Can't wait to see you guys soon, and take care.
Thank you very